Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ulester Douglas, and I'm the interim executive director of Men Stopping Violence, based here in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. I rise today to make a really critical affirmation, which is that it is vital that men be involved in the movement to advance against women. I think we need just look around to see why that is important. Primarily it's women standing, women rising. Men Stopping Violence has been around for 30 plus years, and we work with thousands and thousands of men. And one of the things we've learned when we speak with men about why they engage in the violence that they do against women, a short answer, because at Men Stopping Violence we have a pretty involved analysis, but in short term, they tell us they do it because they can. So it is important to have men involved in this movement because we are the ones who primarily committing the violent acts against women, right? Sometimes in the training that Dick and I do, we make the point that violence against women, particularly male violence against women, can end today if men decide to stop. I mean, really. But getting men involved in this movement is not easy. I mean, there are so many challenges I can't go into because of the limited time, but we are really defensive about getting involved. But so much of the solution lies with us. One of the things we do, if I had time, I'd like to share so much more of the programs we have at Men Stopping Violence, but we've had to get really creative to invite men into the movement. And I want to give credit to this program I'm about to describe really briefly. Our then executive director, Shelley Sadeli, creatively thought about the idea of because we have daughters. Oftentimes when we are in the room with men, we say, how many of you in this room have daughters? Most men raise their hands. And we talk about, do you understand the probability of her being sexually or physically assaulted at the hands of a man is really high? When we talk about 1 in 3 girls by the time she's age 18. Men oftentimes don't know that. They're shocked. So we then ask, and we do this just about every time we are with men, what would you do if you find out a man, your brother, your uncle, because it's usually somebody in the family, sexually assaulted your daughter? Invariably in the room, I'll kill him. So that's a way to get men to see that this work is in their interest too. And so we bring dads and daughters together through some fun activities as a very non-threatening way for men to get a chance to see the world through their daughters' eyes. And it is a different world. I conclude by saying I rise also to remind myself that in the work we do at Men Stopping Violence, it is important that no matter what we do, even when we're in the room just with men, we think about the implications of our actions for women and girls. Women has to always be in the center, even when it's just men. And an important reminder for us is when we talk about ending violence against women, to ask ourselves, which women? Where do they live? What is their income? What is their sexual identity? What is their race? And the list goes on and on. We have to remind ourselves that we really are we really talking about all women? That's why I rise. Thank you.
So to Ulester and to the sisters and my friends in this room, I'm Dick Bathrick and I'm a co-founder of Men Stopping Violence. And I'm going to take a note from Jan and say that I am rising with the hundreds of men of all ages and ethnicities that are organizing and mobilizing men, both here in Atlanta, nationally and internationally, organizing to end men's violence against women. And we've learned some important things along the way. One is, sort of going to where Ulester was, we men will stop violating women emotionally, psychologically, physically, sexually. We'll stop it when we decide to stop it. And we will make that decision when we believe that the communities in which we reside send the message that it is intolerable and will not be accepted. So, when our key gatekeepers, we know who they are, our preachers, our priests, our imams and our rabbis, our CEOs and our senators, our judges and our juries, our deans and our doctors, when they declare that violating women is immoral, unethical, illegal, costly, and deadly, and that when men do this, there will be swift and meaningful consequences that are rooted less in punishment than in restorative justice. Justice that actually works for her family, for her community. That's when it's going to begin to mean something, because men get it. So, we know that the gatekeepers can step up and hold violators accountable. But we also know that when gatekeepers fail to promote safety and justice, it's on us. We got to deal with them, all of us in this room. We can vote them out, we can fire them, and then we can replace them with keepers who love and respect women. Another thing men are knowing is that ending men's violence against women is really in our interest. We know that when women can walk powerfully, freely, and safely through the world, it really maximizes the quality of our own lives, the experience. When women can be all that they want to be, then we will want to be as much and as often with them. We want to stand with them. So as I'm rising with the hundreds of men that are at the worldwide level, we need to know that there are that many that are committed to making this happen. And I think, along with you, Ulester, would want to invite men here in this room and in Atlanta to join with us. Because it's on us right here, and we need to know that we're part of a very wide and growing movement. So peace and justice, and thank you.